I have generated over $300,000 in GCI for my agents on my team through this strategy. This is an evergreen organic YouTube strategy that you're going to be able to implement so that you can be prospecting while you sleep and generating leads on a consistent basis. This is the 7-step process to build it out. Let's dive right into it. Before we dive into the steps, I want to make sure I get this clear first. Is organic evergreen content? What exactly does that mean? Organic just means it's not paid. The 300,000 in GCI we've generated is zero ad spend whatsoever. This is totally organic growth. And evergreen just means that you're making a video that's going to be there and relevant for a long period of time. Let me give you 2 different examples. An evergreen video would be something that is like this. The 7 steps to create a YouTube channel is something that's going to be relevant for several years, if not forever. And that is something that I'm going to make this video once and it's going to prospect for me for years to come. Non-evergreen content is something that's more time-based. So for example, a January housing market update is really only relevant for that 1 month, maybe in February, but even then you want the February market update. So those are the 2 different types of content. I prefer to make evergreen content. Here's the trade-off is it's going to take longer to grow evergreen, but it lasts longer versus your shorter time frame. You're going to be constantly on the rabbit wheel, the hamster wheel to the rat race of constantly making videos to generate new leads. I prefer organic, especially for long term. It takes so much work to make them that you might as well make it evergreen, in my opinion. Now, in this whole video, I'm going to give you some baseline on our channel actually is and what it's about. So if you want to check out our channel, it's all about Orange County, and you can check that out. You don't have to. This is just, I'm going to be referencing our channel that you do this with. So if you hear me talking about all about OC, that is what I'm talking about, our current channel. All right, let's dive into the steps. Starting with number 1, and this is something you've heard before and you're going to hear again, is you need to start with your avatar. This is your strategy for your channel. And the reason you want to start with an avatar is you want to start with who are you trying to attract? And then we can go from there. So for example, what is an avatar? An avatar is literally just who are you talking to in your videos. For example, for this particular channel, I'm talking to real estate agents that want to grow their business, make more money, and they like sales, marketing, and leadership. That's the type of content that I make. So I make content for real estate agents that want to grow their business on this channel. On our All About Orange County videos, we are talking about people who are relocating or moving to and around Orange County. That's the only person we're talking to, and they want information on the actual area itself. So that is who we make content for. So you figuring out who you want to attract is going to determine who you want to talk to. What this will do for you is it's going to narrow down all the million different things you could talk about so that you know exactly what you should talk about. So understanding who you want to attract long term is is probably one of the most important first steps to start with. All right, so that's number 1, is creating the strategy and who you want to attract. Now, let me give some examples. You could attract, like us, a relocation or a moving market. You could attract first-time home buyers. You could attract sellers, which are homeowners. And in each of those different examples, you're going to make different types of content. All right, that's step number 1. Step number 2 is something I wish I would have done earlier, is to determine your call to action, your CTA. I have hundreds of videos posted on our channel over the last 2 years, and I did not do this at all, honestly, until probably in the last couple of months. And I deeply regret it because we have so many videos that get traction and have views, and the call to actions are all over the place. So getting in your channel, just figuring out what you actually want them to do. Do you want them to call or text a phone number? Do you want them to go to a website? Do you want them to book a call? How do you want them to do this? So in my opinion, there's 2 best practices here. And partially is going to depend on your expertise level with marketing. So I'm going to go with the beginner portion first, and then I'll talk about advanced. So on the beginner portion first, I think you should literally just ask people to call or text a phone number. I have experienced that we have a phone number for this channel. It's not our primary call to action, but it's actually what gets the most leads. So I would just put a phone number on the screen, like whatever it is right here, literally just put up on the screen and just say call or text if you want to reach out to us. You'll get directly to whoever, like tell them what's going on. Determining what your call to action is going to be important. And if it's the same across everything, you can just build out the system for that. And it's easier to weave into your videos if you just have one call to action. Advanced is going to be having them go somewhere, do something, or even giving away a freebie, which is a lead magnet. So for example, if I said, hey, if you go to allaboutoc.com, drop your information, then you can schedule a thing. That's what we do. We're a little bit more advanced with tech and funnels and all of that stuff. But if you're not, honestly, I think you should just do the phone calls. You could offer a lead magnet up front. For example, if I wanted to put a ton of time into building out a big lead magnet on Orange County, I could say on my videos, go to All About OC and download a full guide that has a breakdown of every single city. That would be a great lead magnet. I just don't have the time, or I don't think that's a priority in my business to make, but maybe it is for you. So there's just some different options. Highly lean towards call or text this phone number. And if you have a URL in there, I would pretty much have it just go to either a form or a calendar for scheduling. Okay, step number 3, this is where you're actually going to start building out your channel. Now, this is not complicated. If you're not a tech person, maybe this is a little bit complicated, but frankly, this is super easy. We're gonna talk about your images, your screen, your copywriting, and just some of the basics to set up your channel. I'm gonna very quickly share my screen so you can see the background of our channel. Now, again, we're not like, this isn't a crazy big channel. We're bumping up at the time of me filming this on 1,000 subscribers, which is nothing revolutionary. But again, the $300,000 in GCI, and that's that I can directly tie to YouTube. There is definitely more GCI from it, but we've sent people to so many different call to actions that I don't know for sure that they found us from YouTube. I hope that makes sense. But let me share my screen here. Okay, so I have my YouTube studio pulled up here. Now you can see there's some analytics. You can see right now we're at 944 subscribers. So again, this isn't a huge channel, but as you can see, just in the last 30 days, 28 days, we have had 285 hours of watch time. Right, that is a lot. And if you translated that to prospecting, shoot, it's 10 hours a day. I don't think anybody's prospecting for 10 hours. Is that right? Is that good math? Yeah, 10 hours a day. So this prospects for me and my team for 10 hours every single day. We don't even have 1,000 subscribers. Now, I will show you as well too, or share with you, that this is something that grows slow and steady over time. If I go lifetime with this channel, we've had the channel for a long time, but we really only started posting in 2020. So all of this 900,000 views, 29 hours of watch time, all of this is in just the last of me filming this in the last 5 years. And we took it really seriously lately. So that's where these don't need to be crazy comparisons. These don't need to be crazy growth. You don't have to go viral for this to work. So I just want to give that as a little case study. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna click and go to your channel, right? This is gonna go to kind of the back end. And let me pause that. If you're wondering what this is TubeBuddy, which is a plugin. It's not necessarily required, but highly recommended. Now, as you can see from a call to action for us, we have subscribe and learn, All About OC, and we have allaboutoc.com. This is our obvious call to action. And then we have, or you can scan this QR code if somebody's watching on TV, or they could do this obviously on a computer, but on the phone, they're only gonna see this middle portion. They can call or text this phone number, right? That's the major call to action. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is build out this about section here as well too. So what you would do is you go to customize channel, and then you're gonna come in here and you can set up your banner. Honestly, I am a marketing person. Yes, I'm not a graphic design person, and I have a marketing manager. I actually made this myself and it really wasn't very difficult. I went to Canva and I shared some of this. So if you wanna check that out, you absolutely can, not super complicated. Just put a picture of your face here and name the channel itself. Now there is some SEO that's required in here. So you want to name your channel something that people might actually search for, and you want to make this cohesive throughout. So you're All About Orange County and then your name after the fact. I don't put my name in here because I don't sell at all personally. I want people looking for my team, not for me necessarily. So All About Orange County, California Real Estate is what we choose to use. Your handle, whatever, your description in here, short, sweet, to the point, and this is where you want proof over promise. You want to prove that you actually know what you're talking about. You want to have your call to actions in here as well too, and obviously you want to be DRE compliant. So that's your description, and then your URL. This is not a big deal. Like, you just set this stuff up, and then if you want to become a client, and this is where you put your link in here. Again, nothing crazy, nothing revolutionary. This stuff's all pretty easy to get scheduled. Now, what I would recommend doing is I'd recommend having a video for people who have not subscribed, so that just like when we went to my channel here, this video that just automatically starts playing is something that plays for everybody that's not already a subscriber. And this is explaining what the channel is all about. Anyway, so that is building out your channel. Once you've done that, and that's really all you need to do in order to get started. This needs to be done, not perfect. Now, here's a pro tip for you. Steps 1, 2, and 3, which we just talked about. This is something you should do in a day. Literally, by the end of the day today, you could have your avatar selected, you could have your call to action, and you can have your channel all built out probably within the next couple of hours. Where you're gonna focus the most is, number 1, is the avatar. All right, so don't let this turn into a month-long or a quarter-long project. If you're actually committing to making YouTube videos and making a channel that's going to generate you leads, just get this done. You're going to make changes over time and just live with that. All right, that's gonna lead us to step number 4, which is where we really start getting into the heavier stuff. This is gonna be your content strategy. This is going to be determined by, in a large part, who your avatar is. Your content strategy should be for your avatar. So our avatar are people that wanna learn more about Orange County real estate. So that's what content we make. It's very simple, it's very easy for us to decide what type of content we make because we know who we're making it for. I'll give you a different example is if you were trying to attract home sellers, and if you want to get listings from your YouTube channel, you're probably going to make content for who are sellers. They're homeowners. What kind of content do homeowners want? They probably want content on how to improve their home's value. So you might make videos on, here are the different ways to improve your home's value to make it sell for more. Here are the upgrades. Don't do these upgrades before you sell your home. Here's how to increase your home's value without spending very much money. Here is what's going on in the market, right? Market updates is going to be a huge portion of that as well too. So that's the idea of what you would go down for building that type of channel. If you're building a channel for first-time home buyers, you might build out a video on the entire home buying process. You might have a 30 video playlist that is the entire home buying process. You might have if you should rent versus own, right? That makes it so much easier for you to understand what content to make because you know who you're talking to. So that is where you're gonna come up with your strategy. That is number 4. This is probably the biggest lift on where people get stuck. My advice here is you can use things like ChatGPT and you can get ideas. Hey, my avatar is somebody that wants to downsize in Southern California. What video you can say, I'm a real estate agent, blah, blah, blah. If I'm trying to get downsizers in Southern California, what type of content would I make? Well, you'd probably make content about the neighborhoods that are only single level or 55 plus community. So that's where your content strategy. This is gonna take some time, but again, don't turn this into a quarter. This is something you could probably research over a day or a weekend. All right, so that leads us to step number 5, which is your scripting framework. You absolutely have to script your videos if you want any chance of them being good whatsoever. I script every single one of my videos. I type everything out before I ever start the video. And I want to make sure that I even do a dry run before I start filming so that what I wrote actually makes sense when I say it out loud. So I don't script every single word particularly, but what I do is I basically make bullet points for myself. I'm going to share the exact framework that I use right now. So it's 3 steps, very simple. Number 1 is the most important part, is the hook. This is where you want to show proof that you actually know what you're talking about and it grabs their attention. So there's 2 things that have to happen in the hook. And then for a YouTube video, it's the first 5 seconds or so of the video. First 3 to 5 and then 15 to 30 seconds of the video has to all tie in together. You want to make sure your hook is in line with your thumbnail, and you want to make sure your hook is attention grabbing and it shows that you have expertise. Those are the things that we're looking for. So it's hook and then it's content. So once you've grabbed their information and shown that you are some sort of an expert in whatever you're talking about, you want to use steps, frameworks, lists, and stories to retain somebody's interest. So in this video, for example, we are using steps. We have a 7-step video. So we're here on step number 5. So you should be pretty well aware that there are 2 more steps after this, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 2 more steps after this. I'm also using stories as well too, to also keep your attention as you're watching this. By the way, if you're still watching, hit the like button. I appreciate it a lot. So what you want to do is you want to make sure your content has lists, framework, stories, things like that. I also shared my exact document that I use. I copy and paste every single time I write a script for all of my YouTube channels in our free community. If you want to check it out, go to onyxhomes.com/school. Put the link right here, also in the description. This is totally free. You can check it out. It's got literally the exact same thing that I wrote this on and everything else as well too. Now, pro tip for you while we're on this topic is your call to action should be weaved into your video where it makes the most sense, like I just did here for my call to action, which is joining the school community. You want to make this as easy as possible. So like I said earlier, dial this phone number, text this phone number, or in this example, it's go to this URL, onyxhomes.com/school, join the community, get the free stuff. That's how you want to make your call to actions. That's a pro tip. Now, the last part of your script is going to be the transition itself. So you want to hook their attention, and you want to make sure that you show that you're an expert with proof, and you want to make sure. So for example, the hook in this video was I've generated $300,000 in GCI for my team in the last 2 years through an organic YouTube channel. I did that by building out the content is the 7 steps to building out your own channel. The transition is where you're going to say, okay, I talked about the 7 steps to building a YouTube channel. What is the next thing that they would want after that? So for example, for one of my channels in All About Orange County, I might be talking about the things to do in Orange County. Now, once I did that, I might want to talk about the pros and cons. So at the end of the video, I'll say, in this video, we talked about all the things to do in Orange County. If you like this video and you're considering, you might also want to know the bad stuff. So go ahead in this next video, check out the pros and cons of Orange County, right? So that would be the next logical video for them to watch. So you want to make sure you do that as well too. So the framework, 3 parts: hook, content, transition. You want to transition them into watching the next video that makes the most sense after that. All right, step number 5, which is the actual framework itself. Step number 6 is creating content. Now, yes, 6 out of 7, we are finally getting to creating content. Big takeaway I hope for you here is do not worry about the quality. Yes, I have a studio, I have lights, I have a nice, decent camera. It's not crazy expensive. I've got a nice background and all this stuff, but we did not start like this at all. I'm gonna have my editor put up a screenshot of one of my very first videos I put on this channel. And the lighting's terrible, the background's hideous, the audio's it's literally my MacBook with a ring light on it. So no mic, hardly any editing whatsoever, and just not great. But guess what? I got started, and here we are 2 years later. And pro tip, again, one of the deals that we did, which was equated to a $2.2 million deal, was from a video that was taken here, like with this type of quality. So it doesn't have to be really high quality at all. So don't get stuck on like, oh my gosh, I have to go spend all this money. No, I use my iPhone and the MacBook for the first probably 6 to 9 months until we did our first deal. And you can do the same. Now, I will give you some advice here for editing. If you're making less than $100,000 a year, if you're a newer agent, if you're a little bit struggling, don't spend any money. Literally just do exactly what I said, is use your MacBook, use your iPhone, upload the thing and do no editing. Meaning that your style of content is going to be very raw. Because there's no editing, there's no fixing errors or anything like that, and that's totally fine. That style of content actually works really well. Check out TikTok. Like, that's how almost all of that content is done anyway. So that's my advice if you're making less than 100,000. Now, if you're making more than 100,000, if you're a team leader, if you're an experienced agent, here is my advice. Do not do this yourself. Hire an editor, either in-house or on like Fiverr. We used Fiverr for the first probably year and a half, maybe the first year that we were actually editing the videos. So I would highly recommend doing that. It can be relatively affordable, but when you start scaling up and doing more, it does get a little bit more expensive. I run a team. I have a marketing team of 4 people. I highly recommend that you bring somebody in-house to do your editing as well too. Shout out to David. He edits pretty much everything you see, and it is really high quality, as you can tell. I'll share in the next step kind of my takeaway here. But if you're making less than 100, don't spend money on editing. If you're making over 100, you probably should spend money on editing. There's a short and quick. All right, step number 7. This is the last one. This is consistency and time blocking. So here is how you actually will do your YouTube videos. And I have a fun story for you here. Today is Tuesday. I film every Tuesday, and I have a massive content day Tuesday. I woke up this morning, and I have a few meetings Tuesday morning before I get into my content. And I went outside to take the trash out, and I see a worker in the front of the house, right in front of my front door. I'm like, hey, what's up? He told me the water's off. Now, mind you, I'm in a hoodie, hat backwards, haven't showered, haven't gotten ready for anything, and I need to get ready for making content. I've got tons of videos to make today, and this is one of them. And I could have very, very easily been like, oh man, I don't think I even said the thing. They told us the water's off for the whole neighborhood. I'm like, dude, can you turn it on for like 5 minutes so I can go shower? And they're like, no, there's no way. So I'm like, okay, I could have very easily not figured out a way to get ready, but I know that this is incredibly important to my business, so I did anyway. So I literally got a water bottle and a washcloth and like got ready for the day. It took me forever. It was kind of a pain. It was kind of funny, and it really made me appreciate water. But I sat down to make videos. And of course, ironically, the second that I sat down to make my first video after I got ready with a water bottle, they rang the doorbell and said the water was back on. Fantastic. But I could have used that as an excuse to very easily not done what I needed to do. And I know if I don't do it today, it's not happening the rest of the week. Because if you've ever seen my calendar, I'm blocked every 15 minutes all day long. So this is when it has to get done, or it's not going to get done until next week. So this is where consistency and time blocking comes in. Here, that was the story. Here is exactly how I stay consistent by time blocking. I do this for everything, by the way, so this isn't just for video content. I'm just gonna give you some real easy stuff to go after. Okay, there's 3 steps. I'm gonna talk about 2 mostly, but there's 3 steps to making video content. Step number 1 is strategy scripting. Step number 2 is actually making the content, filming. Step number 3 is editing, publishing. So I'm gonna focus heavily on 1 and 2 because step number 3 is gonna depend on where you're at. So step number 1 is you use the script, go to school.com or go to onyxhomes.com/school, get the template, or just write hook, content, transition if you're too lazy to type in, and join the community. You wanna make sure you're writing out the script, and then you wanna make sure you say the script out loud as if you're doing the video. That's gonna take you an hour per video, or at least I would allocate 1 hour per video to do that. I would also allocate you an hour to film the actual video itself. The better you get on camera, the faster you're gonna be able to do the videos. I'm not gonna give you a whole lot of advice on your videos need to be 12 minutes long, or they need to be over 10 minutes, or they need to be short. I don't care about that. I wanna make just the content good, and it's also evergreen, so what's popular right now does not matter. I wanna make actually good content. So I allocate an hour to make the video. And then if you're editing the video yourself and uploading yourself and doing everything yourself, I would allocate 1 more hour there. But I don't want you to spend very much time. I want you to hire somebody if you're making over 100 and not focus on it too much if you're making under 100. But let's just say we're allocating 2 to 3 hours per video. My next piece of advice is for you to post 3 to 4 times per week, meaning you are going to need to have 1 hour for scripting and writing, 1 hour for content, 1 hour for editing. So let's just say 3 hours times 4 videos a week is 12 hours. So with 12 hours allocated per week, you are able to build a YouTube channel that's going to generate you hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. This is highly, 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 highly recommended to do for this reason. You're going to get better faster by doing 4. Up to this point, we have done 2 videos every single week. And in the very beginning, we did 1 a week. And when we went from 1 a week to 2 a week, guess what? 2 things happened. The channel grew faster, duh, and we got better faster because we were doing it twice as much. We just today made the decision that not on this channel, on the All About Orange County channel, that we're gonna go from 2 to 3 and maybe 3 to 4 so that we can have these faster feedback loops of learning what works faster and just build a channel faster. So that is what I recommend. I recommend starting with 3 or 4 a week, and then it's gonna take you 2 or 3 hours per video. And now you're gonna put it in your calendar. So if you looked at my calendar right now, Monday and Tuesday is completely blocked off. Monday morning and Tuesday morning I have for writing content. Monday evening, Tuesday evening, I have for filming content. Sometimes I need to shuffle those around a little bit, but almost my entire day, Monday and Tuesday, is for content because we make a lot of content. If you are committed to making this channel work, it absolutely will, but you are going to need to be patient. Remember, this evergreen strategy, the pro and con, the pro is that it's gonna be there forever and you're just gonna constantly generate you leads. The con is it's not viral. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take you time to build up your channel, but it is absolutely worth it in the long term. Now, once you've determined to do this, put the time in your calendar and go ahead and do it. Now, the next thing is you're gonna need to make sure you have a system for converting these leads into closed deals. So before you hop over to this next video that I made on our entire sales process, the closer framework that I personally use to sell over $1 million in my GCI my first 2 years, and my team uses the same framework. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in that next video.